Huzur, in a book Man of God, there is a mentioning when Huzur was about to leave Pakistan. There is mention about Chini Osman Sahab has a dream and Huzur's daughter Faiza, but there is no any mentioning about Huzur's dream or prediction or feeling. If Huzur could kindly tell us about this.
Before my departure, I had seen in dreams that the country is not going to remain fit for my stay there anymore. And I had seen very clearly that the country is going to be ruled by hundas and no rule of law is going to work in this country anymore. So that is what made me disturbed, and I asked many ulama and many people to come and from different parts of the country and participate in a small shura session to decide whether I should leave or not. Why I did it? Mainly it is because of this dream of mine, which indicated that this country was no longer a proper place for you to live. Now, during that period, we asked many people whom we thought were pious people and who, if they do istikhara, many times Allah gives them the right directions. And among them was Chini Sahib, Usman Chini Sahib. And I also asked my daughters to do the same, because sometimes the family members are told things which are not told to others. So these were the conditions. And also, क्या नाम था पठानी जो थी?
Amatul Hafiz.
Amatul Hafiz, the mother of our missionary in charge,
Mirza.
She was very fast lady. And so we wrote to many, and the answer given to them was so clear. It was amazing. I have told you the incident about about Faiza, how she saw in the dream that people were rushing to her car and watching this. They were all intelligence, military intelligence people. Now about Amatul Hafiz Sahaba, late Amatul Hafiz Sahaba, I can tell you a very interesting dream of hers, which she saw on the night when I was going to leave in the morning. So people of Rabwa thought I had gone to Islamabad because our cars were moving in that direction and we didn't tell anybody where we were going. Naturally they drew inference we were going to Islamabad. Now, Amatul Hafiz Sahaba, late Amatul Hafiz Sahaba, saw in a dream that I had gone to some foreign country, sitting in a flying machine or something. So next morning she took a round of our Gol Bazaar and kept telling every person who was worried about the situation, don't you worry, God has safely taken him to some foreign country. And they laughed. Why it was exactly the case. If this thing had leaked out to the non-Hindu intelligence services, then they could have been alerted. But because they thought she was a simple lady, she's almost trusting her dream, etc. So every person laughed and said, oh, we know he has gone, don't you worry. While it was she who knew, they didn't know. So similar dreams were shown to other people as well, and also shown to some people here in England. They were expecting something to happen. So that is why I said that it was ordained by Allah. And very clear-cut dreams and messages were given by Allah to different Ahmadis about my departure. And the timing was also just perfect. Because when I consulted airlines, the Dutch airline manager sent me his advice that if you want to leave immediately. And I don't know, I think it was Tuesday?
Yes, Sunday night you left.
Sunday night, yeah. And although he said the seats are available for many seats are available for a flight which is leaving after 7 days. But I strongly advise that you leave by this flight, and I'll manage somehow to give you 4 seats. So 4 seats were granted to us. Myself, my wife, and 2 other companions who came as guards for me. So with the grace of Allah, after the flight had left, then the government notices were issued to everybody that I can't leave the country in the right way. In fact, they were issued even before, but that's also another story, why they were in puzzle, in doubt about what the government means. And that is also a very interesting story which I have told. As he repeated that, it was late Zia who himself had ordered that Mirza Nasir Ahmed, the 4th caliph, should not leave the country. Now, because he had been used to dealing with Mirza Nasir Ahmed Sahib, who was the 3rd caliph. So, naming him and meaning me, his order was contradictory. Mirza Tahir Ahmed, the 4th caliph, Mirza Nasir Ahmed, the 4th caliph. So when I presented my passport to the immigration authorities, they were in panic what to do, because the order was for the 4th caliph, which was my passport said 4th caliph, and the name was wrong, Mirza Nasir Ahmed. So they telephoned the military intelligence bureau chief to find out what was the problem and what actually was meant by General Zia. Now, General Zia had called him during that late hour at 1 o'clock in the morning at night there, and when they telephoned his home, there was no answer, nobody picked. So they kept waiting until KLM said, it's getting too late, now permit us to depart. So at last they decided that because we have received no call from the intelligence bureau, let them depart. And when we departed, then he returned from General Zia house, or the palace of General Zia, and suddenly realized that there is a phone call for him, pending phone calls, repeated phone calls for him from Karachi. So he contacted them, and then they told him, this is the case. He said, you stupid things, you permitted him to go? It was he who was meant. Only the name was given wrong. But by that time I had already flown. See? So some very interesting things happened which showed that my departure was divinely organized.